Okay, well, welcome. Hi, my name is Mark, and I like to read the Scriptures. They bring me quite a bit of joy. So, obviously, when I think about reading the Scriptures, I usually think about grabbing the old hard copy and reading through, or just getting a standard Scripture app on my phone and just reading the Scriptures. I mean, there's a lot of good ways to go about that. Just opening the Scriptures and starting at page 1 and going to page 572, whatever, and just reading from top to bottom. You can also read topically. You can try to search for patterns, and there's a great talk by Elder Bednar where you can actually go and see 3 different ways in which he refers to getting good, 3 different approaches to studying the Scriptures. But in addition to that, there's also reading online. You can go to Scriptures.lds.org, and there's a thing on there called My Study Notebook. And if you sign in with your LDS account password, then you can keep track of, you can mark the Scriptures, and you can actually it'll go over to, Ensign articles and general conference talks, and you can mark those and they'll show up in your notebook. You can tag them and organize them into different topics and prepare lessons that way. It's really cool. But there's another one that I wanted to point out that is a little bit less familiar than everything I've said to this point, which is Scriptures.byu.edu. So what this is a website that kind of reverse engineered this way about going about things. So typically I would read the Scriptures, and then that would launch me into reading general conference talks or other things that support what the Scriptures have to say. What they've done here is they've listed from all the Scriptures, and then you can come. I've opened this up to John chapter 14. John chapter 14 verse 6. That's a really popular one, and you can come down here and look. There's tons of general conference talks since 1950 or whenever they began tracking that have referenced this verse, this very particular verse, and you can just click on it, and then over here on the right pane it'll open up the talk right in the place where that verse was referenced, and so you can read how they were referring to it and what they were teaching about that Scripture. So that's a really cool one. It's on phones like this as well, LDS Scripture Citation Index. And hope you enjoy that. It's been helpful for me.